What's good, my kings and queens? I am back. I know I've been gone for a minute. I originally left because, as you all know, I was pregnant, but I had really low self-esteem. Like, I was fat. Like, not just my stomach, my face. My nose was bigger, my face was fat. I was really insecure. And I recorded the last video, and I was like, no, we gotta take a break because this is unacceptable. But I'm here to tell you that Zi'aire is here. So here goes into the story. It was a Thursday, and I had a doctor's appointment. So, we go to the doctor, they check your weight, they check your pee, and they check your blood pressure. So they did all of that, and they checked my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was about 160 over 80. Now that's high. For me, my blood pressure has always been around 110, 115. For it to jump and escalate up to 160, something was wrong. So they kept checking it. So, they diagnosed me with preeclampsia. So they were like, it was the 23rd and I was due the 27th. So they said, since I'm basically full term, I was 39 weeks. They're just going to induce my labor. So when they told me that, I started to cry. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm about to have a baby. I'm about to be a mom. Like, that's shocking to me. So I text my mom, call my mom, like, yo, they told me to go to the hospital. They're about to induce my labor. My mom said she's gonna meet me at the hospital and everything. So I get to the hospital, everybody starts to come in and they're checking on me, and then they admit me into the room and they're checking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is now at 180. And now these numbers are extremely high. These are stroke level numbers. I could die. It could be fatal. So they're put IVs in me. They put me on some medication. So then I go to sleep. The next morning, a nurse comes in and she's checking me out, checking my stomach, putting monitors on me to check the baby's heartbeat, check my contractions. And she's like, oh, so how are your contractions? And I'm like, oh, I'm not having any contractions. And she's like, no, you're having contractions. And I'm like, are you sure? I mean, I'm a little gassy, but I don't think I'm having any contractions. She's like, no, you're having contractions. So I'm like, I don't feel them. So another nurse came in and she told me that they're gonna break my water, and so I can get this show on the road. We need to get Z out because my blood pressure was too high. Ooh, I am sweating like crazy. It is hot, okay? So the other nurse comes in. She's like, okay, we're gonna break your water. You're gonna feel a gush. So she puts this long stick tube in me, and it goes, breaks it, and it's like, and it just feels this whole gush, and I feel the bed, and I'm like, okay. And after that, I start to feel some contractions. Now the contractions, they feel like a little bit of an intense cramp, and I can feel my abdominal muscles just squeezing tight. Now the thing about my contractions, they weren't contraction, stop for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, even 30 seconds. They were continuous contractions, and because basically they were overlapping each other. And I'm like, oh yeah, no. Oh no, I can't do this pain, no. And I'm like, I need some medicine. They did eventually give me some medicine to slow down the contractions, but what happened, the medicine stopped the contractions altogether. Now about 6 to 7 hours passed. So now when the water breaks, it's time sensitive, because when Zi'aire is in there, he needs those amniotic fluids. He needs to either be out or be in with all the fluids and everything. And the water was broke. So my doctor comes in and she's like, well, it's been a while since your water broke, and I was only 3 centimeters dilated, and active labor is 4 centimeters. And she was like, you're gonna have to have a C-section. And the room gets quiet. My godmom, my sisters, my brother, everybody is just quiet because they didn't want me to have a C-section. And they're like, I can try. She would give me about 30 more minutes. She was delivering 3 other babies. She was going to deliver her last baby. And if I came back and I was 10 centimeters dilated, then okay. But if not, I was going to have a C-section. So the problem with that was all day they put a catheter inside of me that monitored my contractions. And a few hours before, someone unplugged it, and it wasn't monitoring anything, so it was just there. But I couldn't get up and move around because I had the catheter in. So I asked the first nurse if we could take it out so I could move, because you always see the pregnant women walking, trying to get the baby moving and everything, and that's what I wanted to do. And so she said we couldn't do it because the doctor's orders or whatever. But I was saying that it wasn't monitoring anything. So for the second nurse came in, I asked her, and she was like, yeah, you can take it out if it's not doing anything at all. And I had a band on me, a monitor on me that checked my contractions and the baby's heartbeat. I had 2 on. So we took the catheter out, and I was walking. I'm moving around. I'm doing squats. I'm pushing. I'm trying to get this baby out because I didn't want to have a C-section. But after a while, I was just like, man, I'm ready for Zi'aire to be here. I don't care. Just get him out by any means necessary. Let's go. I want him to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I don't want to die right now. So when the doctor came back in, she said I was still only 3 centimeters dilated. And so she took me in to the room. And while we're going to the room, I was thinking, I'm like, wow, when I come back, I'm about to have a baby, like a whole live, living, breathing child. Like it was a shock to me, you know. I knew I was pregnant. I mean, for the longest, my whole pregnancy, I didn't really think I was pregnant. I mean, I could see that I was pregnant, but it was just like, I'm not pregnant, like, even though I was clearly, obviously pregnant. But we're going off to the room, and I get in there, and it's freezing cold. It's this room with this harsh lighting, and they lay me down, and they put the curtain over, and they're setting things up. Well, no. Before that, they tell me I'm going to have a spinal tap. So, like, for an epidural, so you don't feel the pain when you're pushing. A spinal tap, you're numb, because they're about to cut me open. So, they do the spinal tap. You have to be very still because there's nerves and everything there. So, they can hit the wrong place, and you can be paralyzed. So I'm trying to be so still. They're, touching on my spine, making sure everything's okay. So boom, they do it. My legs feel tingly, and then they go numb, and then I'm laying down. So then they put the curtain up, and then they let my mom come in the room, and that's when the process starts. So my mom, she comes in, and she's sweating and bullets. She is so frightened. She just doesn't want anything bad to happen to me. She doesn't want me to die or anything. So I'm there. I'm just kind of laid back, and I'm closing my eyes because there's really nothing to look at. I'm just listening to the heartbeat on the monitor. And my mom was like, Micah, look at me. And I'm like, yes. She's like, just look at me. Squeeze my hand, do something, because she thought I was going to die. And I mean, nobody wants their kid to die, but she thought I was going to die. So I was just waiting for, just to hear Zi'aire's cry. And when I did, it was just unbelievable. I guess cry, it didn't sound like a regular baby cry. It was like, it was deep. It was like, and I'm like, this man is coming out. He's coming out as a grown man already, got this deep cry. So my mom was watching him. She's like, Micah, he's pink. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had 2 sisters that came out pink. I'm thinking, all right, he's pink. He's going to get a little chocolate. Nothing to worry about. That happens with babies. And she was like, oh, he's pink. He has a black scrotum. I'm like, I think that's what happens, right? So after they get him cleaned up, they're stitching me back up. I can feel a tugging, but I don't feel any pain or anything like that. I just feel like I'm being tugged. So they take me to another room, and they bring him to me, and I'm holding him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this baby is pink. Like, he's pink. He's so pale. I'm like, is this my baby? But when I was looking at him, I'm like, he is so gorgeous. He's beautiful. I just knew he was mine. He didn't look like me in any of his facial features or anything, but I knew he was mine. Like, I knew that this was mine. So then my godmom was coming in, my sisters, my brother, my mom, everybody was coming in to look at him. They're like, oh my goodness, he's really here. And I'm kissing on him. Even though he had all this stuff from my inside still on his face, I didn't care. I was kissing on him because that's my baby. He was born January 24th at 11:48 p.m. He was 7 pounds, 1.5 ounces, and he was 21 inches. So it went into that night. I went to sleep, and the next day I woke up, like, I was so refreshed. But I'm not thinking that, babies wake up in the middle of the night. So thank God for my mother, because I would have not heard Zi'aire cry at all. Like, I was on so much drugs. I was knocked out. I was tired. I was exhausted. And she would wake up in the middle of the night when she heard him cry, and she picked him up and she fed him and everything like that. So after that, I was in the hospital for 5 days because I had a C-section. They wanted to check my blood pressure after Zi'aire was born, and they wanted to make sure I was healing okay and everything. So right after they took Zi'aire out, my blood pressure, when it was at 191, that was the highest, it dropped right back down to about 112. And I'm like, it was Zi'aire. Zi'aire was really trying to kill me out here. So, everything's okay. I'm looking good. So they're ready to send me home. Now, I did get a little bit of postpartum depression, a little baby blues, but it only lasted 2 weeks, so that's really good. I know a lot of women, theirs last a lot longer, but I have the support of my family. And my mom, she would take me on night rides and we would listen to music and I would just cry and, talk about my current situation, because I overthought the situation a lot. I'm thinking in the future, like, oh, he's going to college and everything. I'm just thinking too far ahead. And she's saying, one day at a time. And she tells me that to this day. People tell me that one day at a time, so I don't give myself and stress myself out and give myself anxiety. And I felt like a bad mom because with my incision and my C-section, I couldn't move around like I wanted to. When he cried, I couldn't get up and run and go help him. I couldn't walk up and down the stairs too frequently. I walked really slow. It's a major surgery. They cut 7 layers and they cut the uterus to get him out. So it's like I have to heal from the inside out, and it was a lot, and I really felt like a bad mom. But my cousin, his wife, she had a C-section, and he told me basically that I needed to focus on healing so I can be a good mom to him in the future. Because if I injure myself now, it can be to the point where I could end up dying. That's the point, and he could not have a mom in the future, So I focus on, healing so that in the future I will be a lot better. And I do feel a lot better. I can help him and hold him when he's crying. I'm going to him, I'm seeing what's wrong, I'm feeding him and everything like that. And I mean, at first I thought he didn't like me, honestly. For about the first 3 weeks, I really felt like he didn't like me. But when we started to latch and we started to breastfeed, it was like a bond and a connection. And when he's feeding and he's looking at you, it's like I'm nourishing him, I'm giving him life, I'm loving him, and I'm feeding his brain and everything like that. And it's a feeling like no other. And now my baby is 2 months. He's so bright. He's looking around at things. He's talking. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's a lot. He brings me so much joy. He brings my whole family so much joy. I really thank God for him because he really brought my family together. This whole experience, at first it was looking hazy and it was looking crazy, but this whole experience has really brought us together. And I am so grateful. Is he sleeping right now? Okay, I'm not gonna bring him in. Stay up, stay tuned, stay woke, and I'll be posting every Tuesday. Hold me to it. I'm gonna be posting stuff, so watch it, tell your friends, and that's it. Bye.
Keep talking. Ah! Yeah, Papa. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.